कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, multiple investigations at QVS for alleged torture. Biosecurity on guard against swine fever. A new home for Narikoso villagers.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Multiple investigations are now underway into allegations that 4 students of Queen Victoria School in Tailevu were stripped naked and had chilies rubbed on their mouths and private parts. It's believed the disciplinary action was ordered by the assistant principal after the Year 9 and 10 pupils left school without permission. Edwin Nunn reports the Education Minister has sent a stern warning to all staff.
4 staff, including the head of school at QVS, have been suspended pending an investigation.
Whether you're a head of school, whether you are a teacher, if you conduct or if you impose any inhumane treatment on our children in schools, the door is open. You are out of this ministry in seconds.
The parents of 3 pupils who allegedly had chilies rubbed on their genitalia lodged a complaint with the Fiji Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission. The commission, upon investigation, facilitated the removal of a 4th student from the boarding school who is also a victim.
It is mandatory that teachers report this to the police if a child comes to school indicating any form of abuse and violence. We have policies, we have laws to protect our children, and at the Ministry of Education, we will neither condone nor tolerate any abuse of our children.
The alleged incident happened on Monday, but authorities were not made aware until 2 days later when concerned parents spoke up.
There is no room for bullying, there is no room for discrimination, there is no place for people who belittle others, whether in school or at home or in society as general.
The Education Ministry is investigating possible breaches of its policies and the Civil Servants Code of Conduct before deciding the fate of the 4 staff. The Fiji Police Force is also conducting a criminal investigation after receiving a report on Wednesday night. Edwin Nunn, FBC News.
The Biosecurity Authority of Fiji is scaling up efforts and taking precautionary measures to ensure the country is protected from African swine fever, a highly transmittable viral disease that affects domestic and wild pigs. The authority's acting chief executive, Suren Pratap, says pigs have a significant economic, nutritional and cultural value. Hence, the impact of an ASF incursion and spread would be severe. Kritika Kumar reports.
African swine fever poses a risk to approximately 30,000 households in Fiji that raise pigs for their livelihoods.
ASF is now present in Pacific region, with Papua New Guinea noting cases of ASF. This poses a significant social, economic and cultural threat to the region, and Fiji deemed it necessary to strengthen measures.
Biosecurity Authority is taking precautionary measures to ensure the country is protected from the pig-killing exotic disease. Pratap says his officers based at the border play a critical role in ensuring that such disease does not enter our shores.
Importation of pork product from countries where this ASF is present. We are not allowing any more importation. We have reviewed our import requirements.
Fiji's fight against African swine fever received a boost following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding yesterday.
So we'll be working together with BEF to deliver inclusive training and awareness, raising activities and materials targeting commercial pig producers, subsistence farmers, the Ministry of Agriculture offices and BEF offices in all the divisions.
BEF is also working closely with the Ministry of Agriculture on this project to provide training and facilitate outreach activities targeting pig farmers. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Christmas came early for 7 families in Narikoso, Onokandavu, as they were given keys to their new homes yesterday. The families were the first batch to be relocated to the new village site following the effects of climate change they had faced every day. Sanyani Boiler was part of the celebration in Kandavu and files this report.
This to this, it was a dream come true for these families who are members of the vulnerable houses currently at risk due to the rising sea levels.
Living here for years, I know that my children are at risk, and with the great help from EU, Gs and the government, they are now safe. This seawall that I am sitting on is not effective because during high tide, water goes into the village and surrounds our house.
For Tebi Tambola, he is now rest assured that his family is safe from the climate crisis.
This is something that we have been dreaming for in previous years. We can't wait to move to our new home, to our new village. Our dream has come true.
While commissioning the new village site, Prime Minister Borenge Mbaini-Marama highlighted the government will not only help address the climate crisis, they will also ensure that Narikoso villages are sustainable.
Tourism and transport. It is a holistic and integrated approach to unemployment and economic development that supports the energies and initiatives of the people. And it is done with support of the private sector and civil society.
Narikoso is the third village to be relocated due to the impacts of climate change, with more earmarked to be moved soon. The $1.2 million project was co-funded by the government, the European Union and the GIZ. Sainian Imboila, FBC News.
The Fijian government will soon begin its second round of consultations on the National Climate Change Bill. Attorney General Ayasaid Kayum says the bill also focuses on ensuring gender equality, social inclusion and the protection of human rights. He adds the bill will also ensure those who are threatened by rising sea levels are well looked after.
It is the first piece of legislation globally to include provisions that recognize and set out a legal process for considering planned relocation of communities as a legitimate form of climate change adaptation.
13 municipal councils have been told to effectively rethink how they can operate and provide better services. The third Special Administrators Forum, convened in Suva today, gave the town council chairs and special administrators an opportunity to take stock of what they have achieved and what more can be done. Pranita Prakash reports.
Municipal councils can no longer afford to work in isolation or individually.
We must rethink and change the business as usual attitude. To deal with community expectation, it requires continuous self-reflection and evaluation. Focus on smarter investment in service delivery through shared services.
On a regular basis, study how council is delivering the service.
The local government minister says infrastructure should be a major focus of municipal councils even during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Local infrastructure such as public parks and sporting grounds, municipal markets, car parks and sporting avenues improves local amenities and increases social and economic opportunities within our municipalities. It contributes to the local fabric and builds community well-being.
Kumar adds there is also a need to invest in digitization to improve efficiency and to be better connected with the ratepayers, households and the business community. The forum ends tomorrow. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Up ahead, Ports Corporation reduces green gas emissions. And 3 charged with manslaughter granted bail.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Welcome back. We do apologise for the technical interruption to our bulletin earlier. However, moving forward, the effort of the Fiji Ports Corporation Limited to reduce energy consumption over the past 4 years has resulted in an annual reduction of 62 tonnes of greenhouse gas emissions. Besides working to achieve energy efficiency, the FPCL is also committed to improving its infrastructure at both the Suva and Lautoka ports. Koroi Tandolala reports.
The FPCL continues to emphasize on managing both hazardous and non-hazardous waste generated by Fiji ports.
Initiative resulted in installation of an electric incinerator at a cost of more than 600,000 Fiji dollars, replacing an oil-fired incinerator that had harmful emissions.
The company is also working with the Fijian government and the Asian Development Bank in conducting a feasibility study on the relocation of the existing Suva port.
This is a critical project, a critical deliverable to build confidence in the Fijian economy that is working towards a recovery in the post-COVID period.
FPCL has allocated over 9 million Fiji dollars for the rehabilitation of wharves in both Sua and Ladoka ports, after conducting an extensive condition assessment of all our wharves. This rehabilitation work will be carried out over a couple of years, starting from 2020 this year till 2022.
The FPCL board chair says this is a critical project to fulfill their vision of becoming a smart green gateway for trade in the Pacific. Koritandulala, FBC News.
3 men who allegedly assaulted an Ausori bus driver, resulting in his death, were granted bail by the Suva High Court. Mikaele Lawaniale, Choseteki Rokondakunivosa, and Ezekieli Langimbalavu appeared in the High Court today. The state today said that they are not objecting to bail, as they do not have any domestic relation with the deceased and are residing at different places. The state filed information today, and the 3 are now facing a lesser charge each of manslaughter. The matter has been adjourned to 30th of November. The alleged incident occurred on the 3rd of October at the Nausori bus stand. It is alleged that the 3 unlawfully assaulted Subhash Chand in Nausori. Well, Fisheries Day was celebrated in Suva today. Minister for Women Miriseni Vuniwanga today was part of the celebration in Suva. Vuniwanga, addressing those gathered for the occasion, said that while the significance of observing a huge source of sustenance is celebrated, issues within the fishing industry should also be highlighted. Vinina Rakautonga has more.
The celebration was not just to mark World Fisheries Day, but to renew their commitments to the fisheries industry.
The fisheries sector must also take into consideration gender transformative approaches that will not only support and empower our women, but will also promote equal participation in decision-making within the sector, and also give the much-needed recognition and value.
The Women in Fisheries Network Fiji Chair, Sherry Morris, says stakeholders and NGOs should work together towards the same goal to sustain the ocean.
We have worked in partnership over the years, but I think we need to adjust ourselves in and address the changing environment, the global changes that are happening, and come up with ways, to move forward and sustain our fisheries.
The event was organized by Women in Fisheries, who held a panel discussion for conservation associations to discuss the protection and sustainable use of marine resources.
Because this is part of our identity. As people of the Pacific, land and the ocean is an extension of who we are. This makes up our identity. Therefore, because we get our sustenance from the ocean, I think it's our responsibility as well.
Half of Fiji's population depend on fish as a source of income and livelihood. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
World Children's Day was marked with the launch of a new food show promoting healthy eating habits for Fijian children. The Pacific Kids Food Revolution stars local children trying their hand at making nutritious food using locally grown produce. Government ministers have encouraged children to choose the healthy option over processed food.
You know how we love our spicy foods and fried food and stuff like that. So we need to get away from that. We need to understand the implications of not eating healthy. It's very important.
And that's something that many chefs that I've talked about said that it's often a challenge with our local food, is making it palatable, making it tasty enough so that we can enjoy it.
And Koroi joins us now with all the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up tonight, proper financial records key to success. And in growing Fiji, bakery opens refurbished outlet. Stay with us.
Pula nadang bawa proselan kerse, gor keraki, do televisi ono barong na Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Keeping proper financial records has been a key secret behind the success of the Vatoa Business Club. Chair Netani Dauvere says managing the business was challenging at first with minimal financial literacy or experience. However, self-determination and honesty kept him going. Josiah Nanunga reports.
This canteen has been in operation for the past 50 years, serving about 120 Vatoa villages.
It has been a challenging journey, ensuring that the business stays afloat, especially during these trying times. The canteen has brought relief to the villagers as they don't have to waste money to travel and buy items from shops in neighboring islands.
Dauvere says plans are in place to diversify the business.
At times, the canteen runs out of stock waiting for the next shipment that comes once a month. We are planning to increase the stock volume to cater for the increasing demand from the villagers.
Urangani Koro Choni Weseleta Lenilutu says the canteen has assisted them over the years.
We are so grateful for the canteen, and it is among the 3 operating in the village. This will also ensure we save money on traveling to the mainland to buy our groceries.
The 60-year-old says the maximum monthly profit is around $2,000. There are currently 3 villages operating the canteen who receive a monthly allowance of $300. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
The Fijian Broadcasting Corporation today signed an employee deduction scheme agreement with the Fijian Holdings Unit Trust. The agreement will allow FBC staff to open their investment account with the trust with a minimum top-up of $5 per pay. FBC Chief Executive Rihas Said says this will encourage the FBC staff to save more and become more enterprising. Said adds this provides a sense of security to the employees.
Hopefully this will make the habit of saving a norm. At the moment it's not. A lot of people don't save. We're asking people to save. So I think this is a good thing, and hopefully it'll lead to bigger and better things for all our staff.
The priority should be given on the investments or on the saving, so that during this time of the pandemic or during this crisis, so we can use these savings or this investment to fall back.
Sanifa from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money market.
The US dollar has been losing for over a week against riskier currencies due to coronavirus vaccine breakthroughs and the hope of reduced political uncertainty after the US election. But it halted its week-long slide today after the Treasury Secretary told the Federal Reserve to return money earmarked for pandemic lending to businesses, non-profits, and local governments. The Aussie dollar, which has strong sensitivity to economic sentiment, dipped 0.1%, losing most of the gains it made this week. Meanwhile, data from Japan showed core consumer prices fell in October at their fastest pace annually in nearly a decade, raising deflation fears. The country's decline in factory activity also increased in November. The British pound was on a defensive after the Times newspaper reported that European leaders will urge the European Commission to publish no-deal Brexit plans as the year-end deadline approaches. And that's a wrap from HFC Bank for this week. Vinaka.
Here are the local exchange rates as set early this morning. In the chaotic foreign exchange market, the Fiji dollar today made gains against the Chinese yuan and the Aussie dollar, but slipped slightly against the other currencies we cover. Now, prices were mixed on the commodities market. Crude oil continued to hover over $42 a barrel. Gold dropped slightly to $1,862 per ounce, and silver closed down at $24.11 per ounce. Waiting in long queues for baked goods at the Hot Bread Kitchen Damodar City outlet in Suva will now be a thing of the past. The bakery opened its $400,000 refurbished outlet due to increase in demand for more space. Apenisa Wangarandova reports the director of the Hot Bread Kitchen says COVID-19 has presented many challenges, but it has not deterred their desire to improve services and keep employees at work.
The initial bakery was small, and the Hot Bread Kitchen took advantage of the extra space as soon as it was available.
Our previous place, as you well will all know, is one of the busiest shops for Osprey Kitchen, and the long line of customers that would queue waiting for their turn to purchase was something we wanted to address. Naturally, when the shop space became available, we grabbed it.
Dr. Samisoni says with business slowing down in many sectors, they are working to ensure all employees remain at work.
HBK has fought tooth and nail to retain all staff, choosing instead to opt for reduced hours for staff so that we can all remain working, earning livelihoods for families and contribute to sustaining our national economy.
FMF Chief Executive Ram Bajakal says it has been great seeing hot bread grow over the years.
It's been amazing. It's a 40-year partnership that we've had, and I think as a supplier of flour, we couldn't ask for a better partner to work with.
The new space now consists of a bakery and a cafe. The hot bread kitchen plans similar refurbishments at other outlets around the country. It has 27 outlets and employs over 800 Fijians. Apinisawan Gerdobu, FBC News.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you next with the latest in sports.
Naka, and good evening in Sports Tonight. Fijiana 15 drawn in tough pool. And Suva football aims to end season in style. There's some more coming up.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
The Fijiana 15's team has been drawn in a tough pool for the 2021 Rugby World Cup. In Pool C, Fiji will take on 2017 runners-up England, France and South Africa. The draw was conducted in New Zealand by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern this morning. Karlaini Tavi has more.
Very happy, I was very relaxed to be amongst some of France and then South Africa. So I'm really excited.
With growing interest from overseas players to join the squad, head coach Senirusi Servakula says the pressure is on local players to step up.
A lot of players have been given interest from overseas in England and in Australia playing in Super Rugby. So I've been getting calls and it's good for the Fijiana. But at the same time, the notice for our local girls is to step up. Because there are a lot of good overseas players. They're very interested in turning down big contracts to play for other country and to play for Fiji.
Fijiana captain Serema Leningela is buzzing to take the field as the team heads into its first World Cup.
Just to get out there, get a feel of how it is to play at the World Cup and showcase Fijian talent. And yeah, I'm excited to just get out there and play.
The Police Blue rugby side is banking on some of its experienced players for the Digital Escort Shield final against Freshet Navy Blue tomorrow. Some of the big names expected to feature for Police include Terio Tamani, James Brown, Meli Kurisaru and Keponi Paul. Assistant manager Felipe Savu believes it'll be an uphill battle going up against one of the top teams in the Suva Rugby Union.
I think comes to Escort Shield final, I think you can really tell who's both teams will be giving their all. Yeah. The players that we've chosen, we relied upon them to do the work on come Saturday.
While reigning Courts IDC champion Lambasa aims to start its Vodafone Fiji Fact campaign on a winning note, the team accepts it won't be easy taking on reigning BOG champion Rewa in their first pool match this weekend. The Mbamba Single Lions host the tournament proper at Subrel Park next weekend, but will have to first take on Rewa in the capital. Eleanor Turangeviu has more.
In what will be their fourth clash this season, the Mbamba Single Lions and the Delta Tigers know too well their match this weekend will be tough. Each team will be looking to secure their first win in round one of the Vodafone Fiji Fact.
Rewa has been always a tough side, I think so, a team with a very good coach.
Every game they take it differently. Even recently we have played and they have always changed their system of play. So I know there will be a surprise coming in and we have to really work hard for them.
Lambasa coach Ronil Lal says they are preparing well and he is banking on the seasoned and matured players in the team to lead a good game come Sunday.
The way Lambasa plays, I think everybody knows about that. So we'll try to work harder on that and have a faster game. The pace would be faster.
Lal admits the coaching staff will have a difficult task of picking the first 11 players to start the game against Rewa, as everyone has been training hard.
The boys have been doing hard, working hard, taking their own time, going out. As we all know that this tournament is a home ground and it will be a tough one, and we're looking forward for it.
The two sides have met 3 times so far this season. The first was in the first round of the VPL, in which Rewa beat Lambasa 3-1. Lambasa won in the second round 2-1, and also the third clash 1-0 at the court's IDC last month. The Lambasa Rewa game kicks off at 3 p.m. this Sunday at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC Sports.
The Vinsburg Suva football side wants another piece of silverware for their trophy cabinet before the end of the season. After clinching the Vodafone Premier League, the Whites have their eyes set on the Fiji Fact. Tale Materakula reports.
After settling for second place last year, Suva looks to take the crown this season.
I think as every team have their dreams, we are also dreaming of winning this league. My name is to win the Fiji Fact. After winning the league, we want to win the Fiji Fact, so we want to end 2020 in style.
Pratap says they trust the players will be able to deliver the results they sought.
These players, they know how to play soccer, so I think it will not be a setback. And fitness level, we don't see, there's not seem to be any problem with the fitness, because I think those are the police players and they have been training every day.
National head coach Fleming Seritslev says with all teams eyeing for the title, competition will be intense.
There has been an increase in the performance of the players during the season. To be honest, I was a bit shocked when I watched the first matches here in February, because in my opinion the level was not actually what I had expected. But coming into, for example, the Battle of Giants, the IDC, for sure the level has raised.
The first round of Fiji Fact matches will kick off tomorrow at Churchill Park in Lautoka. Talima Terkula, FBC Sports.
Boxing fans in Singatoka in for a treat this December, with South Pacific Boxing Promotions lining up some big fights for Lawanga Park. In an effort to give back to Nanranga boxing fans, the thriller will feature some big names, including hometown boys James Singh and Chornasa Kavika squaring off in the heavyweight division. Speaking during the launch at the Uptown Boxing Gym yesterday, promoter Freddie Chand says they expect a favorable turnout at the December 12th event.
I think the crowd should be good, since a lot of Singatoka boys are there. Our own champion is there, and mostly James Singh and Chornasa are from there. 6 years is a gap where a lot of people travel from Singatoka to watch boxing in Nandi and Lautoka. So it took us big heart to invest in boxing in Singatoka.
Fiji Mbati forward Coben Sims has signed a 2-year contract with England Rugby League club Hull Kingston Rovers. Rafael Nadal reached the ATP Finals last fall by beating 2019 champion Stefanos Tsitsipas in 3 sets. The Spanish world number 2 overcame Greek Tsitsipas 6-4, 4-6, 6-2 in London. That's it from Sports Tonight. Coming up in new media, Apple's tracking tool under attack by European privacy activists. This and more after the break.
Baik tu Dendi mereka tahu, Radio Fiji बहुत Radio Fiji रोज सुनता हूँ.
Radio Fiji 2 देश की धड़कन.
And it's weather time now with our favorite lady, Angie.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather World. It's Friday.
That was a quick one. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the day even though the weather was a bit rainy. There is also warnings of flash flooding in low-lying areas, so take heed. Checking other areas in the west, more likeness of rain, heavy downpour expected at times. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, thunderstorms and flash flooding can be a risk, so prepare well ahead. And up north, more showers expected, so basically we'll be talking all showers today. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots may gust to 30 knots at times. For the tides, high tide at 11:45 p.m. with low tide at 6:21 a.m. Sunrise at 6:21 as well. For tomorrow, we're looking at more persistent and heavy showers throughout the country. So if you have a function at home, tarpaulins would be a better idea. Tomorrow's temps, all centers will remain in the low to high 20s. And looking further on to Sunday, these showers will continue, so it looks like a very wet weekend. That's all the weather news from my end. Have a wonderful evening. It's back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse, we asked, who do you think will win their Scott Shield tomorrow and why?
Navy, because there's a lot of super rep in the team.
The police will win the competition tomorrow. Basically, from what I've seen with a couple of weeks, how they play the game. Navy. I believe that they're a better team. They're a good team, police. This is champion from the Scott Shield.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, multiple investigations at QVS for alleged torture. Biosecurity on guard against swine fever. And new home for Narikoso villagers. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, are you prepared for the festive season amid COVID-19? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, last one for our short work week. The shot was captured at Nambawalu Jetty as passengers prepared to board, and this was sent in by Peter Tavo. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's it news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
कुमार साहब नायक है गोंगवा लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।